Just like that, we are back again. And ladies and gentlemen, it has been an action-packed weekend full of fighting at its finest, combat sports, boxing, mixed martial arts. Fellas, how are you doing? This is the energy show for real. How are you doing after that?
Wonderful.
Yeah, boxing holiday, baby. Boxing holiday.
Absolutely.
It was like a buffet of nonstop action-packed Saturday from the get-go, from noon, actually 11, depending on where you're from. If you're in the East Coast, so
And they actually showed the prelims. You could watch the prelims because a lot of times internationally you can't watch the prelims. So that was beautiful.
You got your boxing feel for sure.
Yes, and
I actually purchased it.
Yes, like we always do, right?
Like we always.
Well, I go to an establishment, right? But you know, I purchased it in my home.
Hey,
so
salute.
Affordability,
hit new levels. But that's a big part of the support that like Turkey's given to the entire boxing game.
Yes,
sir. You know, that's ability to great fighting.
$25.99 or whatever it was.
Yes,
sold.
Money well spent.
All worth it. But before we dig into the combat sports that happened or transpired this weekend, fellas, on a personal level, how are you doing? LT Kam Gee, let's talk about it.
Man, I'll tell you what, Friday I was treated to floor seats at the Moody Center watching Pistons versus Spurs. And
oh man,
Detroit what, baby? Detroit what? That's all I can
Big
say.
Baller.
Yeah.
Pistons
did you do it like BMF with the fur coats and everything for the Detroit game?
Not so much fur, you know, little velvet. I did have the buffs, and my throwback Detroit Bad Boys T-shirt. It was a hit. Pistons like really put it on them. Into the third quarter, it was done, and so I just got to talk my talk.
Yeah.
Talk my talk. I was making eye contact. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I brought that energy. You know, shout out to Kay Cunningham, Jalen Duran. You know, got to see Luke Walton's on the bench, Jared Jackson on the bench, Coach JB Bickerstaff was getting a hard time from the ref, and I was like, I'll get a tech for you, Coach.
Right.
Don't worry about it. I got you covered.
I think basketball is always. Go ahead, Kam Gee.
Well, I've got a chance to go to a game. I'm probably not as close as where you were, LT, but really close, and it changed my whole perspective on like watching those games. What you think about that?
Yeah, man. Nah, man. Like when I'm heckling and the players are looking me in my eye, like that's a different experience.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, Chris Bosh was there.
Wow. Okay.
The day before they announced that Wembanyama will be out for the season because of a blood clot in his shoulder, and I thought it was ironic that Chris Bosh was there. So
yeah, they share that history.
Mm-hmm. But nah, man. What I will say is get there an hour early because I got a real hassle getting to my seat, which is further reason why I acted the way I acted. Like I dang near missed the whole first quarter trying to get down to my seat. So once I got there, I was like, I'm getting my money's worth.
Right.
Y'all gave me the run around, so I'm about to run around.
Love it. That's dope.
I think the NBA and basketball is always in a good state when some of the Midwest teams, the blue collar teams, have some presence. It's always good to see Detroit doing great. I call Chicago a Midwest team, but it's a big major hub. So yeah, it's kind of like LA or New York. But I like when I see a Detroit doing good in the league because it kind of just reminds me of that grit grind type of those cities. Them type of cities I like. So salute to Detroit Pistons and also the Spurs. How about you, Kam Gee? How was your weekend besides what we're about to talk about?
Oh man, well, Friday was my birthday, so celebrated my 36th birthday. this past Friday, so that was fun. First birthday with my son, and just had my family eating some papados, and yeah, man, it was a good time, man. I just can't be happy right now.
Happy birthday, my brother. 36.
Thank you.
36 big
Appreciate
one,
it.
you know.
Yeah, it's a big number, man. It's a big number.
I discovered my favorite beverage at Papados.
Which one is it?
The Grand Henny.
Oh man, it's a beautiful, well balanced, delectable drink that I think they don't let you get two of them things.
Mm-hmm. I've never been to Papados, but like everybody, all my friends in the South, like Atlanta, my friends in Atlanta love Papados, but I need to check it out. I need to definitely, when I make my trip to places that have the Papados, I definitely check it out.
Definitely.
Is it specifically seafood? It's
like you got a little Cajun seafood. Cajun. Yeah, Louisiana inspired, but let them tell it it's not what it is. But hey, it's a good spot, good service, good drinks, good food.
For sure. Hey, yo, real quick shout out to our viewers. Participate in the show, drop a comment. We'll interact back with you. So
yeah, like, subscribe. Let's engage. Let's make this algorithm do its dance and kind of let the cream rise to the top, I guess. But let's get right into it. It's been one of those weekends that if you are a boxing fan, you must have been stuck on your seat since noon, depending on what part of the world you are. But us who go by the CST time, we were stuck here on our seats from about noon to about 7 p.m. almost.
Yep.
Just because of the lineup that we had. How do we slice this, fellas?
They did a great job.
We start with the big one or lead up from the first fight, which is the Callum Smith. Where do we start with? Should we go with the big one?
Got to start with a bang.
Okay, let's go with it.
Shout out to them though. They did a real good job of keeping the card moving.
Yeah, no concerts, anything like that.
Saudi is going to be the new entertainment capital. Watch with what Turkey's doing. He's doing a great job keeping everything on schedule. So we had the sequel that everyone in the boxing world has been talking about, waiting for. The first fight was fireworks. We saw both fighters all gas, all gas down to the pedal to the metal. We saw that fight also have a little bit of controversy because people were like, well, I thought my guy won. We thought referees were kind of being funny. We thought somebody swept the other person. Like, it was so many debates within the boxing world with that fast fight, which was Bivol versus Beterbiev. The second one did not disappoint. But before I get into my take, I'll let my co-hosts, take on what their vision was when they saw this sequel happen. Fellas, please share.
Coach, you go first, Coach.
Oh man, I absolutely love the fight, the back and forth action. What we talked about last week was what I talked about last week was Bivol's determination. He just seemed very determined, and early on you could see him planting his back foot in the ground and letting it be known that he would not be pushed around this fight. He had to get on the back foot eventually, just strategy wise, which I did like, but he let it be known that I'm putting my back foot down and I'm getting to work. So that was amazing to see, and I just love the determination that he showed, and really wasn't the decision. I think there was a 116, 112 on there. I mean, I thought that was a little bit off, but love the fight. Was really confused by Beterbiev not cutting the ring off. He did that in the first fight as well. I thought he possessed the ability to do so, but didn't, and I felt like he paid for it.
All right. I want to echo a lot of what you're saying here. Early in the fight, I think the first fight provided a level of comfortability for Bivol, right? So these guys were in there together, so now they know what each one brings, the danger that they pose, but they have a better idea of the range. And so instead of Bivol coming out using the ring as much as he did in the first go around, he's able to put his foot inside the tire and do that dance that way, right? And so I seen that and I said, okay, this is a direct adjustment. But, you know, and so we're texting and I'm like, I know he takes these middle rounds off, so I want to see what he has left in the tank.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's when the master plan came into full fruition, was to reserve the gas until the 7th round, where he didn't win. I don't think he won the 7th round, but he got on the, you know, he got on that bike and still had the activity. And so that's when he started pedaling. And so he got the wheels turning in the 7th, and then the momentum carried the rest of the fight.
Right.
And I feel like, and I want to say this too, I feel like it was a huge setup because he lulled Beterbiev to sleep.
Right.
And so it was like mass confusion at the end. Like now he's like, he got so used to being at this range. And so, okay, now we're back to the first fight. And yeah, I feel like that was beautifully orchestrated. I felt like it was 100% intentional. I don't think they'll ever say that, but that's my opinion.
Because he didn't throw the right hand in the middle rounds. There was a good 2 rounds maybe where he didn't throw the right hand.
And no, he legit took the 5th and 6th off.
We thought there was some people that thought he might have had an injury in the middle of the fight, and then he had somebody that was his legs and stuff like that. So getting that lactic acid out of there. So yeah, he definitely came in prepared for this fight.
Yeah. Well, before I give my take, hit a like, hit a comment, and put a comment in there, because I tend to have the rub of giving controversial takes, but let's see how this goes. I did write my points down of how I thought the flow went. I was very intentional not to even engage in the group message, because I was seeing this fight as from another angle. But again, you guys, weirdly enough, I didn't share any points. I mean, I didn't share, but I found very similar things that you guys saw. So I guess I was in the right space. I really thought this was a high game of chess, but a different game of chess with explosiveness, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like the first 1 to 4 rounds, I think Bivol was very clean. He controlled the fight. We know Beterbiev is a monster, but Bivol was using his strong points, his warrior approach into kind of baiting you into getting into it with him, but again, keeping that safe distance and doing very great counter punching, right? And then it went into, like you guys said it, like he kind of stopped in the mid, and he kind of gave Beterbiev kind of an awakening. And then Beterbiev started throwing nukes, kind of he started throwing nukes from round 5 to 8. I was like, oh man, Bivol may be in trouble, because this was what I wanted Beterbiev to do in the first fight, where start early and keep that momentum going. So from 8 to 5, Beterbiev there being Beterbiev to me. And you could see Beterbiev's power was highly respected, even leading prior to that fight, prior even to the first fight. Beterbiev had remind me, 100% knockout rate before. I think Bivol is the only person that has not been taken out. So so with that being said, you could see the respect within 5 and 8. And then this is where I was completely mesmerized. This is where I had to do the chef kiss to say, you're a genius. Bivol, what he did from round 9 to 12, thing of art. It was a thing of art. I didn't see that, fellas. I didn't see that he had that next level. I didn't see that he had that next gear. Yes, I was writing my notes and thinking, how do you step on that gas when I thought you were done between 5 and 8, but that 9 to 12 was just different level. exchanging even. I was even seeing the exchanges. We do even have a clip from round 11. The exchange was not even phasing Bivol. Bivol was just eating them and just giving. Like he looked stronger, getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. That it kind of reminded me that these two guys are just great dance partners. But it also reminded me that, bruh, I don't think Canelo will ever want to fight Bivol again. After what I saw in that 9 and 12th round, that man is a champion, and he deserved everything. After that, I was like, I still think Beterbiev is a monster, and he could have done so much because that 5 to 8 was scary. But this dude showed me a level that I'd never seen. So I kept my take to you saw in the group chat. I stopped after the fighting. I stopped messaging because I was just absorbing greatness, and I want to see a third one.
There were definitely times where I was in fear of the danger that Beterbiev posed because that I feel like that was the left foot was stepping on Bivol's front foot, and I was like, oh, he's gonna catch him.
Yeah, the referee said something too.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is probably the first time we've seen Beterbiev frustrated and result to less clean tactics. But let's talk about this. No real clinches this fight.
Nah,
no real clinches. Like the
middle round a little bit, right? I think so, but you're right though. I know what you're saying though. Like just there's no clinching energy between these guys.
It's just respect. Like there was just mutual respect. Like we're gonna, whoever the best man is, we're gonna decide it. Clean boxing, none of that. The only time they got tangled up was like the end of the round, and it just dissipated. But
right, I loved, but the mentality it took for Bivol to really go in there, and he had to take a little bit of punishment, but you saw true determination. Like I feel like we really saw a true champion Saturday, and I think that's what a lot of boxing fans appreciated about that performance. Because you like when you talk about these things, like what does it look like? That's what it looked like. Like he was cut after the final bell. He had to withstand a little bit of adversity in the middle rounds. And put his foot down from round 1, so
we're talking about a man that literally lost everything, right?
Yeah.
Before the first fight, he was divorced. He lost his marriage
on him. Yeah.
And he literally lost his belt. So this is a man that lost it all.
I hear a beep in the background.
Is that me?
Is that me? I'm gonna mute myself a little bit. Oh yeah, I think it's Cam. But all is good. But I won't lie to you. I think I became even a bigger Beterbiev fan because even I was, of course, like every other boxing fan, I'm like, oh my God, Bivol, right? Like you're the man. You're the light heavyweight king, right? But there's still that so many things and so many different angles hit me. We are seeing a 40-year-old fighting, bro.
Correct.
Fighting a very dangerous Bivol. And the amount of accuracy that Bivol was fighting at, he was fighting at a high percentage clip. Or his punches was so accurate that he didn't even knock him out, And you're 40. Beterbiev is a monster. Sorry.
We do. Yeah, we do. Beterbiev is a monster.
Like, for being that old.
Take a moment. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
we do need to take a moment and acknowledge that because Bivol only won by the slimmest of margins.
Right.
And executed a near flawless strategy, and he still only won by just a little bit.
Marginal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, hey, I want to see a third one, but before we do that, so let's lay this table out for my good brother Kam Gee, and he's been talking about this. Well, like weeks on leading up, which is scorecards. What do you think about that scorecard when they read it out, Kam Gee? The table is all set for you, and what you've been seeing, the consistency that you've been seeing with the scorecards, and when it comes to the Beterbiev and Bivol, or even other fights that you've been seeing that you've been kind of like. I've been reading your text messages, and you sound frustrated with what's going on right now. within the boxing world.
Well, it might be a good tease for later. We're having a fire alarm malfunction over here, so
Fair.
I'm gonna leave for just a second.
We will note that Bivol's promoter called out the judge who scored the draw.
Oh, he stepped up. He was like, "Yo, that was crazy though." The call for the draw. That I don't know. I don't know what that judge.
I don't think so. I think I respect it. You know, I don't know. Like,
did you see the AI scores? What do you think about the AI scores?
The AR score leans to almost a draw. Like, it's
right.
And then so it's an interesting concept too, because that's all based on statistics. So, I mean, that's probably closer to a amateur, amateur scorecard. Considering that you taking the CompuStats and you award around that way.
Mm-hmm. And the way they were aggregating them, there was so many criterias that kind of skewed the actual. You have to have the human experience to actually see what's going on, because they considered aggression, and Beterbiev was scoring high on aggression or punches thrown versus punches landed. And if you're looking at that fight, Beterbiev looked active. He pressed a little bit, but he was not as accurate as Bivol. Bivol on the angles, and there was so many things that I don't think AI. It just there's something about the human eye. When you see something, you see something. Like if they brought AI to see, let's say, if you ask AI who's the best player of all time in basketball, right? They'll go for efficiency. Maybe Kevin Durant will be the best, or Shaquille O'Neal. Like what's his percentage? What's his field goal percentage?
Right.
70%. Oh, he's the best. And they'll look at Kobe at a 30 or 30 from three and like a 44 career, and they're like, no, he takes too many horrible, but the human eye sees something different. Or if you bring Michael Jordan, his statistical numbers versus like a KD who's efficient. He doesn't waste the dribble. He doesn't waste this. He's a scorer. If you asked AI, based on the variables that you put forth, without the human experience, without the feeling of what a dunk can do to change a game, or without that last minute block, it's something that changes energy within the team. AI cannot tell you that. AI is just going off straight percentage, and you'll be surprised who will be the players who will be getting the most money in the league. Probably be some European guy like Giannis who just is scoring like 60% because he just dunk on everything.
Right, and that AI can't account for
that.
It can't account for the defensive display that Bivol put on as well.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Oof. I was honestly because I was looking at the faces of both of the men, because I feel like that played a part in the last fight too. As far as the outcome goes, and like going midway through this fight and going into the second half of the fight, I was like, like Bivol might walk away the cleaner man. Up until that last cut at the end. But
yeah, I mean, these guys are the perfect dance partners. Like in a generation, it's very hard to find people. I mean, we did find it by accident when we found Wilder versus Fury, which was weird how they're good dancing partners. Like, it's just weird. But seldom do you find good dancing partners. Like, let's see another one. Let's go again. We did see Triple G versus Canelo. And I don't think that one was squeezed. They could have squeezed more out of that orange or that money. That was a cash machine. How many times did they go? They went 3 times, 2 times? I think 3 times they drew. Wait a minute, I can't remember how many times they went, but they may have gone 2 times. I can't remember. But I think this one has enough. When Biggie said, "Believe me, sweetie, I got enough to feed the needy." This is that. There's more in this piñata. You have to hit this thing, get all the money's worth, because these guys could go again. We need to get him, and it has to be soon. It has to be soon. Oh, what we have here. Oh, yeah. Hey, we holding it down, my brother. Hey, we holding it down. The smoke alarm it may have taken the victory for now, but we coming back. With a vengeance. It looks like we have a few other well, we have some stuff in on YouTube, but hey, I'm not even like comments, but hey, keep the story going on this front here.
Let's go.
What's next for? First of all, let's start with after Beterbiev. Do you think now it's just ride the horse throughout the sunset and just go somewhere in Russia away from
trilogy?
How about him fighting? You called it. It was you, or I think it was you. Him versus Jake Paul. Beterbiev versus. Is it worth the trilogy? Well, that's what I want to see.
No, they pretty much said it afterwards. They pretty much looked at each other and they said it. And, Turkey got in the ring and said he held up to 3. And they had an exchange in the ring where they shook hands. Bivol said they had an exchange in the ring where they shook hands. Where Bivol told him that, when I got to the national team, I looked up to you. I respect you as a fighter. And, Beterbiev returned and said, this is sport. Congratulations. And then they had another exchange later on outside the ring. And he said, I'm not going to shake your hand this time because we got to do it a third time. So,
yeah, our good brother Kam Gee said Beterbiev don't want to fight. So, I could understand that when you're 40 and you have to rub that Ben Gay on your elbows and getting up for camp. You've seen his workouts. Beterbiev's workouts is ridiculous. Him with the little, he just with the little weight with the little dumbbell, and he was doing some crazy workouts. I'm like, bruh.
He actually said he didn't want the rematch.
So, with that being said, man, go get your money, King. Beterbiev, to me, you're still a legend. Bro, before you met this guy called Bivol, you were the boogeyman, 100% KO, scary. You did your thing. But sometimes you gotta bow down to a man much strong. What's that thing that bow down to something much stronger than whatever? I don't want to get into this rap, alignment with things. But for real, I would love to see him fight again. But I don't want him to. I don't know if this the trilogy. If he goes out bad, it will not look good. But again, I want to see it too. So
hold on. Cam said he wants to see a new opponent.
For Bivol?
Ooh, we'll put it for Bivol.
Usyk. Duh. Usyk. That's the play. Oh, who's this? Oliveira. Salute.
Let's go.
You know what? He should have taken the retirement after the first fight. Do you think so? Oliver. So Oliver.
Yeah. So he also said that he said it if he didn't want the second fight. He said that in the post-fight interviews. So he's like, I don't want the first. So yeah, I mean, he could have retired with a perfect record and 99% KO.
But see, 40 is different. 40 from 2010, 40 from 2005 is different from 40 in 2025. These 40-year-olds, they're in their prime, low-key. But I hear you, Oliver. I hear you. Yeah, he's an old man. What else do we have there?
Doesn't think he has a chance in the rematch.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Oliver. I think that rematch really, it's not. I don't see. I think Bivol now goes from strength to strength, and I don't think he needs. I think Beterbiev needs to conserve his legacy. He's been a great champion in the light heavyweight, and he has done a great job. I think Canada adopted him. He's out there. He's training. He's making a whole little league out there. He's doing his thing. But I mean, why not do the Jake Paul?
Nothing wrong. Nah, I think he respects the sport too much. Nothing wrong with a trilogy though. If that's what it is, yeah. If he's gonna fight again, it's gonna be to avenge that L. So
and I don't want to write Beterbiev's obituary like he's done. He's not done. He's still a top level fighter. He probably beat 99.1 I don't know. He beat 99% of the light heavyweights out there. He would probably give him light heavyweights, he will give him a hard time. But let's pivot to Bivol, because I'm telling you, this is a big topic here. What's next? What's next for Bivol? We've seen Canelo having that itch for, I want to get mine, what they call it, get it back in blood. You beat me. You're the guy that beat me and showcased it around the world that, my skills could not do anything with you. Canelo could not do anything with Bivol. What's next with a Bivol?
Well, the Mexican Monster was there, ringside.
David Beterbiev.
And he's the number one contender. So if anything outside of the trilogy, go for the number one contender.
That's an interesting take. We have some people in the chat. Now, this is where we're going to bring full engagement. What do you think of David Benavidez versus Bivol? How does that look like? We need your engagement in the chat. We need your engagement in the chat, including Kam Gee. What do you think of David Benavidez versus Bivol? Oh, you're on mute, Cam.
I'm back. Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Man, they try to take me out. They try to take me out over here. Hey, Benavidez versus the Bivol, bro. That's what I want to see. I would love to see that fight. That's one of those fights that I don't know if Bivol takes too many more fights like that. Like, that's a lot. You fight Beterbiev twice. I'm already expecting a fight with someone like David Benavidez to at least have 2 fights. I believe he's the younger man, Benavidez. So more wear and tear, tough fights, but exciting, entertaining fights that I think the fans would love to see. That's why I said in the chat I would love to see a new opponent for Bivol. Just because he's exciting, he's picking Bivol.
He has some good take about the game of boxing right now. He said that it's like the game of boxing is changed a little bit. Boxers like Bivol are more he said, what's that? Are more back-footed counter chess players with upper hand on aggressive forward fighting.
Okay, so I watched.
Yeah, that's a legit point. That's a legit point from Oliver.
So this is what I'm watching the TNT broadcast, the UK broadcast, and they were giving Mahtimov. We'll get to that fight. They were criticizing his back foot movement, which I will get into. I feel like it could have been, some of the movement was a little unnecessary, but they were singing praises for Shiraz. And then, so it's like there's effective boxing on the back foot, which we saw someone like Floyd Money Mayweather use later in his career. And I think what I would just like is the consistency, like, because you see a wide scorecard, right? To bring back to the point before I got cut off, but we'll see a close fight. Our eyes will tell us this is a close fight, and you'll get a random 117, 111 card because obviously this one judge does not prefer the back foot fighters, or you have guys that will score rounds for guys that are on their front foot, but it's not effective. That was the Zapata and oh my God, from Philly. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name, but they're about to have a rematch.
Boots?
Farmer.
Tevin Farmer.
Yeah. So his camp is saying we box out the back foot effectively. Zapata's forward aggression really didn't do a lot. So I think I just would like to see the consistency in the boxing community with that. But hey, I think that's what makes the sport great. You got different styles, and the styles make fights.
And I think, and so my response to that was, with Mahtimov being the smaller opponent, it just wasn't the stereotypical role that people think that he should play. And then in the later fight, that guy is using his size as people would look at it in a traditional sense. So you want to see the smaller guy trying to get inside of range and not really fighting from range.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of what it has to do with.
Right.
Yeah,
So
like
it picks up different ways in different fights. So yeah, it's
Mm.
hard. So in that breath, it's hard to be consistent when it comes to judging that. So
Oliver's has some good points. This right here made me laugh. Hold on.
oh
That
yeah,
Beterbiev
I
is
agree
becoming
with
a
that.
perfect example. Like, I'll say this: we've seen this prototype before, Oliver. You remember a guy called Triple G?
Right.
If you've seen Triple G, I mean, and I don't want to say that's like a Eastern European, Ukrainian, Russian style. Like, them dudes don't care. They'll give you what you can hit me a little bit, but that little bit is gonna create for me to find my angles to put you in a situation that you don't want to be in. So that's a style. It is like yes, and I mean it's been there for. Oh, there you go. Yes, he said Triple G more forward than better. He's moving fast on the chat. Like he's really engaging. But yeah, like he said it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. So with that being said, like I still think that style is flawed because if you meet a fighter that knows how to fight on the back foot, like a person that knows how to pivot, a person that somebody with Shakur Stevenson's skill set, or Floyd Mayweather, who's a good counter puncher, a person that knows how to engage with that type of fighter. It could be scary hours. It could be scary hours for the I'm gonna like kind of like Apollo Creed versus this is kind of like old school, like a Rocky reference. Like there'll be a fighter who crack that
every style. Every style has its weakness. It's just about being able to penetrate it and exploit it. And there's a weakness there because your arms can only cover so much, like, and the gloves only cover so much. So there's openings everywhere. But
this is a good podcast topic. What is the dope? Let's talk about all the styles, from the Peekaboo to the Kronk style to all these styles from Costamado's Peekaboo. Like he used to fight a lot of Peekaboo to Kronk to all this. Like we need to come up with a podcast where we talk about styles and why those styles work for certain fighters, because certain fighters don't have the athletic ability to do certain styles.
Yeah, and it's just, and you said it right, like it's the athletic ability that covers up the deficiencies.
Facts. Oh,
right.
Whoa.
Yeah, the game of boxing is evolving. They're trying to do the best style. The style of Bivol's a good contender for the best style. He has the Russian pendulum from the Soviet system. So
yeah,
it is a pleasing style to see. You're seeing it become more prevalent in a lot of the divisions with a lot of champions from that part of the world.
So and also it varies between different weight categories, because it'll be weird to see the Peekaboo working with lighter weights. Like Peekaboo is good when you're fighting big dudes who are not
you don't see it used as much because it was a style popularized by one man, and he passed it down to three trainers.
Yeah, the Teddy and the other ones.
Yeah, so correct, not very trendy these days. So this is one of those things. I think we talked about a little bit about like this American style and things that are happening across the world. But what you are seeing is the boxers from the former Soviet nation are rising to the top in a lot of these divisions.
Yeah.
So
if you ask me before we have that podcast discussion one day, I think the Kronk style is my favorite. That grit grind, pressure you, put weight on you. Hey, jab stiff. Like I like that style because I grew up on fighters doing that. I grew up on Lennox Lewis. I grew up on what's his name? Jeez, now I'm forgetting. Like it was right. I speak about dude all the time. Not Marvin Hagler, the other dude.
You talking about
Hitman Harns? Yeah, I grew up on even to a certain extent. Tyson Fury uses that style. Like I love that style because I think that style is just textbook, easy to copy and paste. It's an easy plug and play style that at least, yes, it has its deficiencies. If you're not strong, if you don't have the tank, if you don't have certain things, it may not work for you. If you're not tall, maybe it may not work for you. I don't know. But still, I've seen it work. And I've seen it work on different body types, right? But this is like trainer discussion. And I love that Oliver is bringing that out of us right now throughout. We kind of like threw our script of like what we talking on the banner right now because Oliver is just hitting us with curveballs.
Let's get it. We got to go.
All right. And that's only the first topic. But thank you, Oliver. Keep on engaging us. We're going to talk about another fight here.
Everybody else, feel free to jump in that comment section too.
Okay, this one here. So Joe Parker, like I said earlier, you guys, I don't know if I really reiterated this. I think there's a resurgence or a rebrand of Big Joe Parker. He was a young champion at 23, 25 at a heavyweight. He lost it all. And ever since, he's been getting it back in blood, low key, quietly. Everybody was giving Triple D his shine. They were giving Daniel Dynamite DeBoer his shine. But nobody's talking about Joe Parker, low-key cleaning out some of the best heavyweights. He did it with Deontay Wilder. He did it with Joy Joyce. I mean, he's been doing it low-key. And this time, they brought the boogeyman. And he's truly the boogeyman in the heavyweight division. The most avoided fighter, Martin Bakole, fights out of Scotland from the way of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Came in 2 days, not even I think 2 days, maybe 1.5 days, because he spent one of that days on the plane flying down from Congo to Saudi Arabia. That boy stood on the scale at 315.
Yeah.
He didn't even have his own boxing gloves. He had to use the Triple D boxing gloves.
Yeah, we got to put this into context and not waste too much time on this one.
Yeah, man, because I'm honestly like,
he got beat in the second round.
Taking the fight, I mean, I understand it. It's a big payday. It was rumored that he may have got a house as well. I mean, you got to get someone like him trying to get that big opportunity. It came in a unconventional way, but to go get in the ring on that short notice in the heavyweight division, the most dangerous division in boxing, I mean, you got to give him some credit. But wasn't ready to fight. So, we'll see him in May, according to Turkey, on a major fight card. So, I kind of say my judgment as a fighter from there. As far as Joseph Parker, he handled his business. He did what he's supposed to do, and now he just awaits that real opportunity. So, like you say, he's cleaning it out. So let's see.
And so the Bakole was supposed to be seeing the same fight against Ajagba. I think that's going to be on Canelo's undercard. So,
yeah. And let's go back to salute to first of all Martin Bakole. There's nothing I could take away from him. He went out Saudi Arabia to get a quick bag. But let's talk about Joe Joyce for a little bit. Joe Joyce is one of Joe Parker. My bad. Thank you for reeling me in on that. Joe Parker is one of the most talented heavyweight fighters, like skill level. Like his skill level is high. Like if you talk about the heavyweights that have skill level, he's one of those. He's always been criticized for his punching power, maybe not because he was always the slimmest. He kept himself at like 230 pounds. He was never the guy who kind of ballooned himself.
Not anymore.
He was a young. Now he's the 265 and he's lifting more weights. But as a young fighter, he was a young champion. He held two of the belts that I think Anthony Joshua took from him with a unanimous decision. But he was always scared of exchanging. He was a good boxer, distance fighter. He had a very good overhand right. He's known for that. Joe Joyce, post not having the belts, he doesn't care. Joseph Parker post losing the belts, he doesn't care, and he's been getting small incremental improvements, and I've been seeing a lot about his game that he's very dangerous in getting these heavyweights into situations that make him strong. Again, he's not necessarily, in the heavyweight, I do credit height. He's not a short guy. He's like 6'4", 6'5". So he's in between, the mammoth, of course, that people who are 6'9", 6'6", 6'7" in the Bacoles and the Furies and the Joshuas, but he's still there. He's 6'5". But his boxing knowledge, his amateur career, his Olympic history, all that comes into play. Now that he's getting to this big old age of 31, 32, he's still young and he's still getting better. And he's, like you said, he's now got bigger. He's like 265. He rated at 265. That's probably the heaviest he's ever weighed in for a boxing, fight. If I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong from the chat.
Hey, he's carrying well. But let me say this: the eye test lets you know he's ready for the opportunity. I just really feel kind of scorned by this fight happening, because we were expecting a fight for a heavyweight belt to be on the line. It's a different type of intensity, implication as far as unifying the belts with a Usyk matchup, a Joseph Parker matchup. It's interesting with Usyk, and a Triple D matchup is also interesting. So not to get that fight and to get what we did get. I mean, it was a fight. It happened, and I just felt like we just got to get to the next one.
Yeah, that's just like those certificates, right? It's like, oh, I got this certificate. It looks good on paper, right?
What was the competition like? Like what was the hoops and measurements and stuff that you had to go through? What was the criteria? All right, on to the next one, because we can't talk too much about this one. Okay, what do we have here? Ooh. So we're gonna talk about the boy from Newark, New Jersey, Shakur Stevenson, Olympic silver medalist from the 2016 Rio. Was that a Rio Olympics? I can't remember.
Right. Yeah, he got it tatted on him.
Yeah. Probably we did mention that he was a generational talent at one time. He was going to change this boxing landscape with his talent, and he's going to be. He's still that guy. Okay. His opponent his original opponent was Zabeta. I think Zabeta. Was it Zabeta? His original.
Zabeta. Yeah, they turned it down.
And then we had
Kid Austin.
We had Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield.
Floyd Schofield.
And he got sick during camp. And then we had a last minute fill-in. And I don't like when people say a part-time. He's a fighter, bro. I don't care. Everyone's like, yo, Josh Padley, like electrician box. Like, I don't know how this came from.
This is a real 9 to 5 fighter. That's real fighter.
He's a fighter. I don't care about the whole part-time stuff. I don't want to hear that. He's a fighter, bro. He's ranked.
You go to work and then you go to the gym like that. That it just takes a different mentality to be able to do that. I think this is
snap. Oliver's not playing.
But that's what
Oliver
it is.
said something. Wait. What did Oliver say?
His opponent was one notch lower than Shakur. Was a 4-star fighter versus a star fighter. Yeah, I actually like Padley's style. Body shots took him out. That is the direct result of not having a camp. He really felt like he could have been able to withstand those. But at the end of the day, those shots were placed. So you got to give credit to Shakur Stevenson. And we talked about last week about body punching, and we saw that with we saw that with Ajay Cabay knockout. We saw it here with Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
Give credit to Padley, doing this thing, going to work, and then getting in the gym with one of our top fighters in the United States right now. And gave us a good effort. 9 rounds. We were just talking in the chat like, man, if this goes 12 rounds, this is not a good look for Mr. Stevenson. And as soon as those messages got sent, he was putting down with the body shot.
If a plumber took a generational talent to 12 rounds, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Electrician.
Electrician, my bad.
But
not no Mario. Electrician took you to 12 rounds.
There's an argument one day, and they're gonna be.
That's a generational talent right here. He's talking about fighting Tank.
So in post-fight interview, Shakur Stevenson revealed that he hurt both of his hands in the 3rd round.
Make the fight happen with Tank before his hands like just fall apart.
Broke his hands? Well, hold up. Say that again.
He go ahead.
Yeah, he hurt his hand. He hurt both of his hands in the 3rd round.
Oh,
You
snap.
saw him kind of do
So-
one. He landed I believe a right hook or something, and he kind of shook his hand like that after he made. So clearly something
Oliver-
still.
Oliver got jokes, by the way. He
No,
stole
that's-
solar panels.
He
No, no,
installed
I don't
solar
think
panels.
that's-
That's a fact. It's a fact. Yeah.
What's the fact?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I was saying it was left, but I think it might have been both. But either way, man.
I just watched the interview with Radio Raheem. He said that he hurt both hands in the third round.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah,
right
man.
hand, the right hand is the one that he had surgery on, and so the announcers were shocked that he had trouble with the left hand. So
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, there is some chatter I saw that maybe he came back a little too quick from surgery. So
Yeah, Shakur needs
but
to-
I also saw a coach that I work with mention that Shakur was saying F the fans. Did y'all get that anywhere?
Say that again, Shakur.
That Shakur was talking mess about the fans. So I didn't see this, but I didn't see this from Shakur. I know there's a coach I follow
Champ said something.
that
Yeah, we already talked about the Bivol segment, but
Appreciate-
yeah,
We'll just
appreciate
let
you,
him-
Champy. Hey,
We'll just let.
Appreciate
Hey man, we'll breeze by. We'll just show him
Yeah.
a little love for participation.
hey, no, for sure.
but bro, like I won't lie to you, Josh Padley was a placeholder, bro. I was watching it out. I kept on texting. I'm like, yo, he doesn't belong in there. And you guys are like, you kind of agree, but like, we won't talk about what's in the group chat. He was a placeholder, bro. He was a placeholder.
I'll come out and say it. I'll come out and say it. Like, no, Shakur was supposed to, and even Sean Porter was saying this. Like, in my head, Shakur's supposed to take care of this guy in 4 rounds. I said Shakur needs to just blitz him in the corner, throw some flurries, and force the referee to do his job. I mean, Sean Porter is basically saying the exact same thing on the broadcast as I'm putting it in the group chat. And I said the longer that you have an opponent in there, the more confidence they may build. They're like, oh, I'm in here with a world-class fighter. Like, let's be honest.
No camp.
No camp. Let's be honest. If Padley has a camp and Shakur is punching him but not hurting him,
yeah, how does this fight not go 12 rounds with a full camp? I mean, come on.
With a full camp?
Yeah. So this fight and the last fight we just covered, it's just frustrating because we were so excited. We've been talking about this card since like December. So to have a couple of fights that we were expecting change, one of them being changed twice, it was just a little bit of a letdown. So Shakur did what he's supposed to do. 9th round. Glad it didn't go all 12. We're rooting for him over here, but the fight we wanted to see, we didn't get a chance to see. So hopefully Floyd Schofield is resting and getting healthy, and hopefully see him back in the ring soon.
Yeah, I was looking at boxing Twitter, and they were talking about, like, Shakur also has some like very radical fans. One of them was talking about like, yo, why everybody talking about pillow hands, but this dude got like a 50% knockout rate. They're like, yo, he has a 50%, which is true. I had to go to boxing. I had to go to BoxRec. He has like a 47 point something, but yeah, he has a pretty. I mean, he knock out people. Like, like Twitter call him pillow hands, whatever they call him. Like they troll him because he goes at them. He goes at fans, and they're gonna come at you. They call him pillow hands, and they have all sorts of names at the core.
He ain't knocked nobody out since what, 126?
He knocked out the last person. He knocked out Padley. Or he hit him with a body or something.
When you're not endearing yourself to the fans in boxing, like
fans just on his neck. There's
an aspect of a champ being a people's champion as well, and to be not liked or booed, actually booed after a victory is this.
Crazy.
It has to suck. You winning, but I mean.
Like
yes. I know that we're a big fan of him here on the show, but it's just certain things that you see how certain individuals conduct themselves, and you just want to see you don't want to see somebody going back and forth with the fans. Like, leave that up to us. Leave that up to us. Stay away from that. If anything, be gracious. You can talk a little shit. That's always good because this is entertainment. But I feel like directing that towards the fans is just never going to be a good look.
Yes. So let's go into the next one. Hamza. Let's talk about this Hamza ordeal. Before we do this, should we play that clip or not? Is that what? Oh wait. We have some chat engagement here before you.
I don't know which clip are you talking about.
You talking about with Turkey?
With His Excellency. So I think Shakur is a good fighter, and he just lacks charisma.
Strap can't walk and chew gum.
That's
crazy.
That's dope. No, that's true. He does lack he lacks that charisma and stuff like that. So
I won't say that.
He does.
I don't say I agree with that. Oh, I don't agree with that.
That he which part?
That he lacks charisma?
I think he does.
I think he's very charismatic. He's got a great smile with the Keisha Cole gap. I mean,
throwback Keisha Cole.
Listen, yeah. Maybe
some of the performances. Yes, I can see that.
That's the part.
It's the coming at the fans though, because he's very marketable. Like we would love to see him, and I think people want to root for him. So it's not that. But yeah,
I think I think it's more of his personality is. He is who he is. Like he's a kid from Newark. Like, and sometimes he's very defensive. Sometimes you don't engage with trolls, because if you engage with trolls, you just playing. You're rolling with the pigs in the mud.
It's the second half of the comment, the boxing style.
Oh wait.
That comment is 50% correct.
It's not a fan friendly performance.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah,
I think for a boxing purist, yes, it's amazing, but it doesn't have that entertainment factor to someone that may prefer a Mexican style.
In context, Cam, we have to put it in context. Who are you doing it against?
Right.
I think we got robbed from Kid Austin. Like, if Kid Austin was on that stage, something may have triggered Shakur to approach it differently. And yes, he did score with a KO, but it didn't look like something that was an uphill battle, or it did. Respect to Padley, man, but he was not on that level to be on that stage with him. Respect.
You keep saying that. I don't really agree.
You don't
with
agree?
That. It went 9 rounds on the 4 days. Come on, bro. A 6-8 week camp. You don't tell me this guy did not look competitive at moments.
Well, I'll take that back.
You build up your body. You build up your body in camp. So I can't really sit here and say, oh, he didn't belong on that stage with him. He just didn't get the proper preparation time. There's a big difference. This is an undefeated fighter who clearly is a professional because he was ready to fight. So to say you can't, I don't think you can sit here and say that he was not on his level as far as clearly talent wise, right? But he was a professional that has earned the right in the ring to get the opportunity, and he took advantage of it. So
and more qualified than Floyd Schofield.
Which we talked about him stepping up. We talked about that. So we just thought we would have got a fight, a more entertaining fight, because there's a personality, there's an interest here in the United States. You bring a fighter with Padley that brings a European crowd. But we were wanted to see Shakur be pressed a little bit, and that's what we thought we were going to get from a Floyd Schofield. We didn't necessarily think he was going to win, but we wanted to see him be challenged with someone that was
dangerous. And I would say we might get the same performance because Floyd Schofield holds the actual knockout power. So Shakur might have been on the bike. Shakur might have been on the bike even more.
Right. But with the Shakur, man, he's an enigma. He's one of those that he's one of those people that you just he just shakes up the Twitter world. He shakes up everything. So we could talk about this man for like hours.
That's something we can't agree on.
But yo,
I love it.
Let's talk about Hamza. We skipped off the Hamza topic.
That was me.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Oh man,
yeah,
I thought
we won't even go. We'll go through this. We're just gonna play one clip about this, and then I'm gonna ask you fellas what you think about what's happening in this dynamic that we visualized and saw and had to accept. So let me play this clip here. Hey, just for copyright, I can't play. There's music playing in the background, but fellas, let's talk. Let's discuss. Let's engage.
Maybe he's doing his Mayweather Promotions impersonation right there.
Right.
People online, hit us with some comments on what you thought about that clip. Somebody talking about the scorecard.
He was supposed to be that guy, man. He was supposed to be that guy and was not putting on the performance that I think a lot of fans in the UK was not expecting. Adames walked into a clear walking into a visitor's arena, basically, even though it was neither his home country, and I really felt like he won that fight. But to see it was a close fight, but to see a 118-110 for Adames, that was wild. But we talked about some judges favoring a fighter being on the front foot. I don't necessarily think he was always effective off the front foot, but he definitely was the one, dictating the rhythms and the pace of the fight. I did think he notched a close victory, and he was a champion. Seeing the clip with Turkey on the side of the ring, it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth just because of just sports in general right now. There's always some type of controversy or the product being questioned. You really just want to feel like you're watching a competitive situation and the best person is going to win. So seeing it kind of sours it.
Is that a teacher helping you cheat in the test? Is that a teacher helping you cheat in the test?
I don't know. He wasn't performing that great. I think they expected him to do well. He's fought on the Riyadh season card multiple times. They clearly have some type of interest in him, and he just wasn't performing well. And Turkey did not go to Adame's side. He went to Shiraz's side to let him know what he thought about the scorecard. So, Shiraz he just isn't what they thought. I saw his last fight. Thought he looked explosive. Did not see that this fight. Looked a little timid. Didn't let his hands go. Showed some little ability, but he didn't take the belt and didn't deserve the draw.
Facts.
Yeah, I put in the chat. This is like the unofficial intermission. Just from a name standpoint, but it was a competitive fight. Adames probably picked up some fans here and definitely earned his respect. So shout out to him. Shout
out. Well, I feel this is one of those things where if you're involved with a product and you're the CEO, CFO, or sponsor, stay the hell back. It's like Diddy dancing in your music video. Like the whole thing that Death Row, this is like an old reference. Now, remember, if you watched the Source Awards from the late 90s, when was it Source Awards, right? Where Suge Knight stepped on stage saying, "You don't want your CEO dancing all in your videos," and all sorts of stuff. This is controversial, by the way, that I'm talking about.
Well, also, yeah,
I'm going Death Row.
You can't say that name in 2025 either. Like,
I know. I don't even know who you're talking about.
Remember, there was a Source Award where Death Row at that time in the 90s was going against Bad Boys, and there was a whole thing of after the Outkast had won. I think they broke a record, and the South is here to stay or whatever. there was Suge Knight won an award. And anyway, long story short, he was shooting at the CEO, dancing all up in your videos,
wearing shiny suits,
wanting that stage and wanting that shine. Stay back. If you're the person orchestrating everything, I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you in the mix. And that was a shot back then to, Mandem from Bad Boy. But it's like, let your stars be stars. In this situation, it looks bad because it looks like, hey, here's the cheat sheet to the exam. Not the cheat sheet to the exam, but this is what you need to score high, which is okay. People do it all the time. We said Floyd did it. I mean, there are videos that it comes out like where people tell you, hey, bro, you're not doing good on the fighting scorecard. Step it up. But in this case, homie's telling you 2 points. 2 points. You just have to do this to pass the test. Two. He said 2 points. You're down. Come on, man. Step back and sit in your boss seat back there. At the end of the day, he's not talented enough or qualified enough to be on that stage. Period. Because now you could have been a stage for another qualified fighter. But I understand it's all some national stuff. I understand, and I don't want to go into it. But that's how I felt about that. It reminded me of that Suge Knight Bad Boys ordeal back in the day.
I do believe Shiraz is a European belt holder. There were some levels that he to get to this point in his career. He just didn't perform well in this fight, or let me say, it just wasn't good enough to be Adames this past Saturday.
And Adames is correct me if I'm wrong. Is he Cuban?
Yes.
Yes.
Or is it Dominican? One of the.
I think you might be right.
Yeah. I think he's.
And for me, it's not even about what country you present. If you're an organizer, if you're the person facilitating, you have to be neutral. You have to step up. You got to step back. We don't want to see what side you're on, especially if you're the big money distributor. It just looks bad. It looks bad from business side of things, because now if I woke up and I was Carlos in this Adames and I had like a stomach ache, I'm like, they poisoned me. Because you saw how homeboy is moving over there. I'm in his country. I don't have anything to like. I don't want you choosing sides. You could choose sides inside how you feel, what you want, but step back. Leave the fighters. Let the fighters do whatever that exactly what my man Oliver said. Conflict in interest. Don't do that. Like, if you're a business owner, you could have whatever, but don't show that on camera. That look crazy. That look crazy. I don't know, but that's just me. But maybe it's different over there in Saudi Arabia. But respect, right. Turkey. We need to come out there.
You ready to move? You ready to move on from the intermission?
Let's move on.
Right.
Let's move on there, man.
Hey, let me pop this off, man, because I will say that I allowed you guys to convince me that Mahtimov would win this fight.
Did you see what he did with Terrence Crawford?
Yeah. You know, like I said, I begrudgingly picked Mahtimov because of recency bias, but eye test, just tells you that Virgil Ortiz was the more talented guy, and so I think this is a lesson to be learned that it's so styles make fights, and you can't necessarily compare similar opponents, because style make fights. But I walked away saying that Ortiz looked more impressive than Crawford.
Right. Yeah. Right. I didn't understand the strategy by Mahtimov moving unnecessarily in the early rounds. It was a lot of unnecessary movement early on. He mentioned in the post-fight that he got sick 2 weeks ago, and he said he really wants a rematch because he felt like that drained him a little bit. But he used so much energy, and I don't think he really had to do that. It was just a strange strategy to me, regardless of if you were sick 2 weeks ago. I mean, if you were sick 2 weeks ago, I feel like you would not move as much to maybe save your legs a little bit. I think, did we have a random 117, 111 on this one?
Yeah.
As well.
You know what else is strange? You know what else is strange, right?
What happened?
Even Sean Porter called it out. Is that a Frito-Lay skin?
Yo, yeah, you called it out. Hey,
you posted that.
As someone who has worked in warehousing for 13 years, I checked in a lot of Frito-Lay deliveries, and I know a can of bean dip when I see one.
Yeah, that's wild. That's
it looked like they were using a can of bean dip as a cold press on Mahtimov's face.
Man,
that was crazy.
I didn't know they allowed processed food in Saudi Arabia, but
yeah,
that was crazy.
I don't know if that was just a wrapping around something, but hey, that was a good catch right there. I would have never.
Hey, when you posted that, I was like, "Whoa!" I didn't catch it.
You need to put that in the
because I was watching it on TNT. That was crazy.
Thing. But this was a great fight to watch, though. This was a great fight to watch. I was really surprised at the swelling on Ortiz's face, though. Like he did look like he got stronger as the fight went around. But that was it told me that Mahtimov does have the shots that he was landing there's some thump behind him. It didn't look like a traditional turning of the punch, setting your feet and all that, but clearly there was some type of damage being inflicted, which I just thought that was an interesting point to see from the fight. It was I had Mahtimov winning. I don't think it was necessarily recency bias. I just really thought the style would cause more problems for Virgil. He mentioned that he had to slow himself down a little bit, so maybe a more experienced Virgil Ortiz understood that, hey, I need to take my time with this guy and let my talent show through in the later round. So really love seeing the fight. I didn't understand. I think there was a 117, 111 on this one.
Yeah.
So that was one of those things. But hey, it was great.
Yeah,
fight. Man won.
Yeah, I was concerned about the bruising on Ortiz as well, because there was a fighter who was like a burn victim, and his body turned red easily, and so that can, if you're an easy bruiser, that can influence the judges. So
yeah. Correct. That's what I was thinking about as well.
Yeah, so we'll see down the line. Like Terrence Howard said, they used to slap him when he was a kid because he was high yellow. What
we got, man, saying Ortiz made me remind Kello.
Add more context to that. Add more context. But like that Ortiz fight, like Ortiz, Virgil. I'm speaking like I know him. Hey, the pride of Texas, man. He reminded us low key. Like I won't lie to you, I kind of wrote him off based on his last two fights, but he's a high level fighter, bro. And
I mean,
and our preview did show that, man. We kind of had that recency bias. LT was right, because we were talking about what Mahtimov, how he fared with Terrence Crawford. But
this is the thing, though. If you look at the last fight with Bullcheck, there was a knock. Bullcheck, I think, landed a right hand in the second round that was ruled a slip. That should have been ruled a knockdown. That fight was scored 115-113. I do believe, or it was a split decision. There was some things like that affect the outcome. If we're talking about Virgil Ortiz coming off a potential draw or a close loss, we're having a different conversation.
That's what we had that conversation. We were like, that ball check. Like I think we thought Virgil.
I went back and rewatched the fight. Very close fight. Very entertaining. Bull check. They were trading in there. So
they would.
But there's a moment in the fight, in his last fight, which gives you some of that. Okay, you came off of this is a hard fight. You just came off of, probably could have lost if you get a knockdown call in the second round, regardless of everything that happened moving forward. So Mahtimov didn't present that same type of body type and style, like LT said, styles make fights. And Virgil Ortiz showed a lot of poise and a lot of determination to get the victory.
And am I wrong? Like maybe my TV was kind of Like, why did Virgil Ortiz look way bigger than Mahtimov? I'm like, it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, wait,
he did.
The numbers don't look like on paper. Mahtimov is bigger than him, right? Did you see that, or am I?
Hey, hey, we had some snack athletes, man. They were looking great this past weekend.
Right. But anyways, that was a good fight. And the man from Texas, the Texas Sprite, man, Ortiz Jr. did do what he came out there. He did that, and sky's the limit. This one right here, this was for the interim WBC heavyweight title.
Light.
Oh, wait. I'm talking about the Cabay.
Oh, never mind.
We're going to the
Cabay. I stand corrected.
Oh, am I moving? Am I speeding too fast right now?
No.
I was that for a belt.
For the interim heavyweight WBC.
Yeah. So that's the thing about this card was either they were for a championship or they were for an interim title.
Yeah.
All of the matches. So,
but bruh, let me. I wish I had that whole clip that Shaquille O'Neal says. Let me say it the right way. Ajit Cabay. Hey, I was not familiar with your game. That's all I'm saying. That thing when Shaq said that, I was not familiar. Hey, you're a bad man. Because I saw your measurements and I saw Zhang's measurements, and I'm like, oh, I already know where this is going. Fellas, did you let me hold up. Let me play a clip here. Like, because this right here had me questioning, like, what's happening? Am I in what universe? like hold on, let me play. Bruh, let me pull it back. Ajit Cabay looks like my friend Yusuf, who gives me my gyros. Like, every time I'm getting my gyros on like when I go like downtown Wichita, and I know my man Yusuf out there cutting his I'm like, how is this dude beating Zhang? Like, look at his body type and everything.
Yo, body punching devastating. The look that Zhang had when he looked up to the heavens and was like, "Oh, get me up off this ground." He just couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. That's a look of like, I'm done. That was amazing.
And he was actually the aggressor in the early part of the fight.
We had a knockdown. He got knocked down in the previous round.
He knocked down Cabay. He knocked him down. Yeah,
in the previous round. But we once again we talk about body punching, so I want to make that a point. Hey, we talked about it with Shakur and getting Haley out. We talked about it last week when you get guys hurt, and to see the body punch having making its appearance on this card is just wonderful to see, because it breaks you down. There's nothing like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, body punch is vicious. Cabay is, bro. Zhang is like, how tall is Zhang? Like 6'6". He's a mammoth. He's a big dude.
Man, all the heavyweights right now just
Cabay is like 6'2". Like,
but that's a big man. That man, that like a man that chops wood.
Yeah, but like the way he was like remixing, Zhang there, it felt like a Chris Brown Ace Hood song, body to body. Pause.
So I guess so. After this fight,
chopping him like it was crazy because they were exchanging. Zhang was giving him body shots too. Pause. That sounds crazy, but they were just punching each other out and just going through each other. And Zhang is the one that quit. I feel like the referee could have stopped it, and then Zhang almost took the knee, but he didn't take the knee, and then the referee kind of pushed Cabay out, and it was kind of weird. At one time, I was like, "What's happening here?"
And they were saying he may have broke a rib, like he may have broke a rib but can't breathe.
Yeah, with when you see the oxygen come out after something like that, there's some bruising. There's some deep internal injury going on right there. When the breathing is labored, and the medical staff gets wind of that, pun intended.
Mahtimov also did oxygen, but he said he had like tuberculosis or something. He had like
we had a lot of sick fighters going around this week and lead up. So I guess there's some legitimacy to him being sick, needing oxygen.
Mahtimov, yeah, he did oxygen too.
So just put more context on the heavyweight division. Joseph Parker is the WBO interim heavyweight. Ajit Kabayal is the WBC interim heavyweight. So, and then Kubrat Pulev is the WBA regular heavyweight champion, which I guess that's their number one contender. So anyway, yeah, there's that shows you the landscape outside of Usyk and Dubois.
So what you're saying, there's some good fights to be made out there.
Correct.
Yeah, we're ready for it. Turkey, make it happen.
Let's go. Shit.
What we got?
So we have the one. I won't lie to you. This was the best fight of the whole card. Even if it was the names that we didn't know, but when you saw this fight, you knew something was special, and this was a classic.
Oh yeah, instant classic.
And let's let Oliver in the chat was kind of like pressing us to like talk about this. Oliver, put a comment over there. Talk about this fight, and then we'll build off what you are talking about with our takes, because this was a classic. You said
interesting.
Whoa, Oliver. This no. We've seen what other fights have we seen yet? We've seen Beterbiev's fight earlier.
Morel.
Is this? Hey, you think this is fight of the year?
Definitely a candidate. It says contender. Fight of the year
contender.
Okay. Yeah. Going in. He's definitely in the conversation.
One could argue. One could argue it is.
I mean, so what we found out was Botsy he's fighting under the management of Anthony Joshua, and Callum Smith is what they call a stablemate. So, so they a little bit of familiarity around, common denominator of Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
But this kid's tough. Botsy, he's showing to be a future champion in that,
I know earlier we talked about Beterbiev, but these are light heavyweights. They're in the same category, right?
Yeah, Callum Smith took a devastating knockout to Beterbiev, I believe, last year.
Yeah.
It was first time he had been down in his career, so you got a lot of pride, a lot of character in the ring, and then I think his other loss was to Canelo.
Correct.
So
you have like a Joshua Buetsi.
Generational type talents. I'm just saying, as far as Callum Smith, the caliber of fighter he is. So we did learn a lot about Bousy, but we also learned a lot about Callum Smith, that he, at 34 years old, he still got some gas in the tank.
Exactly. I was going to say, we've been seeing Callum Smith fight for a long time. I mean, he's been around, but Joshua Buetsi, is he originally from the Congo, right? And I may be saying from the wrong country, but he's from another country, but respect to him in this fight here. And watching it, I was like, these dudes really are putting on a show. And I think boxing should take notice, because win or loss, nobody lost on this fight. I want to see both fighters fight again. I don't care if they fight each other or they fight other people. I became fans because, again, this, I don't know if, like we talked earlier, it's this synergy, dancing partners, right? I'm like, one time Callum has the advantage. This time Joshua Buetsi has the advantage, and like it's just switching back and forth. And I'm like, I could not stop. Like I was like, is this how you starting this card? And if you starting it at this pace, like LT used to say, this tempo is crazy, and you're doing it at this tempo. Like, how are you gonna live up to this? Because that was a very, very good fight. And yes, it could be contender fight of the year. But man, we saw knockdowns. What else did we see in this? We saw like just so many. We saw so many elements about this fight that, like, Joshua Buetsi, I was not familiar with the game.
Listen, we know how strong his chin is.
Yeah, I was not familiar with your game.
Yo,
it sucks that it was not a marquee, like, earlier fights, like on with the spotlights of everything, because that was one of the best fights.
Yeah, all of these
Probably the best fight in the card.
All of these fights would be headliners, as far as matchmaking is considered. So now Callum Smith is the WBO interim champion, and then of course Beterbiev holds interim titles for WBA and WBC. So those are two potential opponents for the undisputed champion right now.
That's
Dimitri.
Hey, shout out to Oliver giving the coaching some love in the corner and seeing how it executed in the round. So that's one part of watching these fights I do love. I don't like when I get I feel like, I don't know, sometimes you get the broadcast only focusing on one corner in between the rounds. I like the broadcast that get the corner in both corners real quick. Let me get a few seconds here, a few seconds there, because it adds to the intrigue into the fight. What is being said in the corner? What is his face looking like? How is he breathing? And then you get the other corner as well. So shout out to that. That's my type of boxing fan right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And really, like, I like that everyone is mic'd up. Although, like, last time when we shot our episode, we talked about Big Baby, and sometimes being mic'd up in certain situations don't make it look the best. But when you're mic'd up in the trenches, it shows your character, like, and how you adjust to the adjustments that your coach is like letting you know, hey, your tendencies here are not working. Let's go back to what we talked about. Like, you're really going back, you know. Like, I like that Oliver and other fight fans love that, because that's really what boxing is about. Boxing is not just the fighter fighting in the ring. It's the team, the cut specialist, the coach who make you make adjustments and all sorts of things to get the number one objective, which is the win. So that's really boxing. It's not, we always focus on the fighter, but really and truly it's a team. And salute to Oliver for bringing that up and making that a point of focus. So I won't, fellas, I don't know what your stamina is looking like tonight, but I know we have UFC to cover. We won't talk about that right now. Unless, okay, what we could do right now in this limited amount of time, we have 4 people streaming live with us. Give us your questions. Give us real live interactive things that you want us to talk about quickly within these next 15 to 20 minutes. We could run through them and then at least give you a service of, you know, just talking right now. So this is a good point right here. They made a big thing about Bivol bringing in that massage therapist or whoever it was that was working on his legs in between rounds. And Bivol was really quick to, you know, acknowledge everybody that's on his team.
Yeah, I love that, man. You're a true champion, man. Became one of my favorite fighters.
After taking repeated blows to the head, he's still selfless and thoughtful enough to.
Right.
Oliver, you don't miss the. Hey, drop the flags of your country, where you from and where you watching this streaming from.
One thing, well, I know it's. I guess we're trying to wrap up, recap the potential of a Teofimo Lopez fighting in Times Square,
Montreal.
So shout out. So we talked about last week. I think Turkey watching the show, man. Like, yeah,
I know I really do agree with you on that. Like, they watch
where did that come
show.
from?
Like, a lot of things that we.
Somebody said Times Square.
and then what happens? He's mentioning a fight in Times Square. Turkey was like, "That's a good idea. I just want to go to the fight. That's it."
And I'm just an electrician podcaster, and Turkey's just.
Look, man. Nah, I am very intrigued by something like that. So Just throw that out there. Just throw that out there.
Salute to Canada. Salute to Montreal, man. That's beautiful place, man. Beautiful place. Beautiful people. Salute. Which other places do we have in the chat right now? We have a few other people. Like, which other locations do we have in there?
I don't know if Champy's still here.
Champy's not. But hey, salute.
Just to recap, we to let everybody know where we're from. I'm in Dallas, Texas.
I'm currently in Austin,
Texas. I'm in Wichita, Kansas. So, salute. A lot of snow. Like, okay, so the snow in Montreal. How long do you guys have snow out there? I know we buying time till we close this show, but how long do we have snow out there?
A couple times recently.
Montreal?
No, I'm saying you, Strap. Haven't you been snowed in?
We were snowed in like last 2 weeks. I mean, the last 2 weeks, and then this week after. I don't want to confuse, but we've been snowed in. Oh,
right,
45 centimeters. That's a lot.
Yeah, this is where the international aspect comes into play.
The metric, yeah.
We are
salute to you.
Glitching. We are glitching right now.
Thank you for being part of our journey here with Who's Fighting. You already know. Stay tuned. Every time we're gonna just like and follow and hit that notification. So every time we go live, you could join in. And if anything, we could add you, make you a mod, so you could control the chat. And we could do that. Like let's do it. We want to make this more engaging, have more fan and community participation, so we could just have this boxing conversation, this MMA conversation in combat sport world.
Oh yeah.
Here's one for the road.
Salute. Thank you, Oliver.
Hey.
Thank you, Oliver. Oliver, do you say Olivier or Oliver? Like, correct me here.
You gotta spell phonetic in the chat, bro.
Olivier.
Let's see the skills real quick. Hey, 45 centimeters is 17 inches for our American listeners that are stubborn and just refuse to learn the metric system.
French.
Olivier.
Yes.
Olivier. Yeah.
You might have been saying it wrong, but
I've been saying it wrong the whole time. My apologies. Olivier.
Hey, but the most important thing is Wu-Tang is for the children and boxing is for the people.
There we go. I love it.
All right, let's corral this and send it off the right way, fellas. Been another great episode of Who's Fighting. We appreciate everybody that's been on our live session consistently. Like, subscribe, comment. Let's make this engagement happen. Let's grow as a community. It's all for one for all. Hey, we are all in this together. Thank you very much, fellas. LT, Kam Gee, and Olivier. Who's Fighting?